TCU 31, Arkansas 30, with a TCU probability of winning at 51.2%. So.
Wow. Okay, this one could be a good one.
It's going to be a struggle. Good game.
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking at your post. Upset alert this week. Kentucky versus Florida. Tell me about this one.
Well, if you remember back to that week-to-week post, I said that you gotta put Florida on upset alert against Kentucky every year until it actually happens, because the last couple of games have been really close. But if I want to take that back necessarily, I don't know if it's upset alert in that capacity, because I mean, Kentucky had to do everything it could to not be humiliated by Southern Miss.
That's true.
They had a 25-point first-half lead, and losing by 9 to the offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, they fired in December. I mean, the new quarterback, Drew Barker for Southern Miss, it was a horror show. And against Florida's defense, Kentucky hasn't defeated Florida since 1986. Heartbreaking losses each of the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Florida still has questions on offense, but it's kind of like Alabama and winning the SEC. Picking against the Gators in this series is a mistake until proven otherwise.
Very true.
DC 3PO has Florida at 31, Kentucky 12, with a win probability of 88.7%.
All right, DC 3PO hooking it up. If there's a sleeper game this week, what do we got for a sleeper?
Well, I like a couple. I like the Arizona State, Texas Tech. I think a lot of people think Texas Tech's going to win. I side with DC3PO and go with Arizona State, but the game I like best is the San Diego State-California game. San Diego State lost 35-7 at California in Week 2 last year. It started them on a 3-game losing streak, but then they came back and they've won 11 games in a row. The running back for the Aztecs, Donnell Pumphrey, he's also got a superb defense that they hope to repeat in Mountain West champions. And unlike last year, that defense isn't going to be asked to slow down Jared Goff. And David Webb, transferred from Texas Tech, he started off in Australia for 441 yards and 4 TDs against Hawaii. But State's defense is much tougher than Hawaii, so it's going to be a bigger challenge for David Webb. And it's going to be a clash of styles again, but the Aztecs are capable of revenge. And DC3PO has San Diego State winning 35-21 for California with an 81.9% win probability.
All right, Aztec fans, it looks like you got a real good shot today against the Cal Bears. All right, I got to ask you one thing before we get out of here, Chris. Have you or are you going to sign the petition to buy out Les Miles' contract?
Saturday was nonsense on a lot of different ways. It's one thing to lose, and I don't care that you lost to Wisconsin, but apparently we all drank the Kool-Aid thinking that the offense was going to change and that we would see something different. And, you guys all weren't around for the ranting all week and the heartbreak and all that stuff, but, in LSU's last 20 quarters, they have been shut out in 10 of them. It's ridiculous. And here's the bigger question. If Purdue transfer backup quarterback Danny Etling does not get in the game today against Jacksonville State, then yes, I'm signing that petition, because I didn't see any improvement from Brandon Harris. I didn't see any adjustments in the offense being made. I did see a defense that, even though they had some communication breakdowns like we talked about last week, they played well.
Yes.
And I think people need to understand that Jacksonville State has 11 SEC former players on that team. They have been good in Division I AA, and they will be difficult. And if LSU's not ready to play, they might get embarrassed. They might, I don't think they'll lose.
Right.
But a close game, a small margin of victory, that's going to be a serious problem heading into Auburn.
Okay.
So I'm not on the petition yet, but if there aren't changes from this game tonight, and especially if we lose to Auburn, because my feeling towards the Plainsmen, I'm not only on the petition, I'm contributing.
Yeah, let's pass it around.
Yep.
Well, there you go. LSU, I agree. They played well on defense. There, like you said, there were a couple communication breakdowns, but the athleticism's there. The position players are there, and I do expect them to bounce back this week. I don't expect it to be close. I think they're going to come out hungry, not necessarily to try and save their coach's job or anything like that, but to avoid the embarrassment. I think it's time for them to put all their talent together today, and I think they will.
Yeah, you got to wonder, either everybody's been lying to us about the talent that we have, or it's the coaching.
Right. All right, Chris. Well, we appreciate it. That's another awesome set of college football knowledge. I appreciate you calling in, and we'll talk to you again next week.
You got it.
All right, guys. That's Chris from the Dirt Cannon. All right, so, impressive all around. I love the guys from the Dirt Cannon calling in. So much knowledge. DC3PO hooking up the stats. It's just impressive to hear. It's fun to hear as a fan. It almost excites me. So check them out. Check out their page. If you haven't already, go check it out. They're going to help you out. They're going to, give you some knowledge, and they're going to make things good for you. So check out thedirtcannon.com. Check out what Chris and Jeremy got going on over there. It's all good stuff. All right, let's get back to the Thursday night game really quick. We're going to talk a little bit about the Thursday night game. I left off talking about being impressed by Cam Newton after the game and the big hits that were going on and what the defenders could possibly do to avoid doing something like that. And there's not much you can do. You can't like I said, you can't defy physics and stop after you've already launched yourself to try and make a play. Now, you could have not launched yourself. You could have used better technique. But that's the style the NFL pushed, promoted, and all the fans came to be accustomed to as being football. And that's why there's calls for rugby-style tackling. And look, concussions, injuries, it's part of the game. Everybody has to make a personal choice. It's going to happen. You can't call all of them against the defenders. You just can't. Denver's defense, very slow start in the first half. They were triple teaming Vaughn or double teaming and sending a chip, and they pretty much took him out of the game most of the time. He ended up with a sack and I think a tackle. So low stats for Vaughn overall. He had an impact. They clearly game planned to stop him, to help Reamers on that side. DeMarcus Ware had a good game after he got started. He started off real sloppy almost, like a guy who hasn't played since the Super Bowl. But it only took him, 5 snaps, 6 snaps, 2 series. And then you saw him starting, to get loose, get free, starting to get around the edge a little bit, and he pulled out a couple sacks. Good game for him. They're not getting any pressure up the middle right now. Now, I'm not saying, they're missing Malik Jackson, but the guys that they have didn't get any pressure. They, for the most part, held their spot and didn't let him take off up the middle of the field. Didn't let Cam escape up the middle and run for, first down after first down all night, even though they gave up first down after first down all night, especially on third down. At one point, Cam was like 6 for 6 for, how many ever yards and a touchdown on third down. That's unacceptable for the no-fly zone and for anybody who wants to be considered a good defense. You just don't play that way. That 18-play, 9-minute drive or whatever it was in the second quarter, come on. How do you let that happen if you got pride as a defense? Go out there and make something happen. Get mad in the middle and get some pressure. And they weren't getting any pressure up the middle. And with the missed tackles they had, especially on that drive, the results were what they were. 17-7 going into halftime. Simeon had 2 picks. The kid had a great night. For that being his first NFL game, national TV, opening NFL season, defending Super Bowl champions against the highly touted Carolina Panthers defense and Cam Newton. He did great. And really, I would give him a pass on both of his interceptions. Not much of a pass, but a little bit of a pass. The one that was tipped, he probably shouldn't have released that ball. He probably should have thrown it into the ground at the defender's feet or hit the defender in the foot and, lived to play another play. But it was tipped. He was trying to get rid of it. You can't do anything about a tip pass. Peyton Manning during the broadcast said that should be outlawed. Now that's ridiculous. It made me laugh. But nonetheless. So it's like, okay, we'll let that one go. His second pick. That safety came in. He tried to make a play. He stood there in the pocket. He took the blow. Was unable to follow through. The pass came up short. If he follows through on that pass, Emmanuel Sanders catches it and most likely scores a touchdown. Now, Boston was coming over the top, the safety, so there's a chance he doesn't make it. But they at least have first and goal if he's able to follow through on that throw. So really, you give him a pass on that one too for standing in the pocket, trying to make the play, taking the hit. And that's what happens when you don't get to follow through. Sometimes it comes up short. It doesn't quite make it all the way. But you'll take that. 9 times out of 10, you'll take that if you're the coach. And then he threw the great pass to CJ that CJ turned into that 25, 28-yard touchdown that he had. So he even got his first touchdown in the game. Good job for the kid. Something to build on for sure. The running game was on point. That offensive line is immensely better than it was last year. Very impressive how the offensive line played for Denver. Carolina, I was impressed, of course, with Kuechly. How can you not be impressed with how he plays football? It's hard to say there's a better linebacker in the NFL than him right now. You could argue everybody else in your top 5. But somebody who plays pass coverage and the run game with the ferocity, with the instinct, with the know-how that he is, I don't see it anywhere. I just don't see it. Kuechly is the best linebacker in the NFL. Carolina's secondary, they got a lot of work to do. With the rookies and the veterans that are back there that are, really second-tier safeties, they got a lot of work to do. They're going to really have to rely on their front 7. And for them to rely on their front 7, those defensive linemen are going to have to play a lot better than they did against Denver. Now, everybody forgets or doesn't know or wasn't aware, Carolina's defense was ranked in the middle of the pack in total defense last year. They weren't a top-ranked defense. They rose to the occasion in the playoffs, like I've said, and they played well. Now, they've had some turnover. This is not just the Josh Norman effect. He had one good season so far in the NFL. He's not the holier-thou best corner in the NFL. So they got work to do. Their offensive line didn't play that great. Jonathan Stewart had a good game, breaking tackles, running hard. Kelvin Benjamin looked unstoppable. Greg Olsen kind of disappeared. He had a couple good first down grabs for him. But I expected to see a little more out of him last Thursday. Wasn't there. I expect both teams to look much different in 10 days when they play again. More like regular season football. Vontae Booker. He comes out after, preseason. I'm not here to hold pads. I'm here to take jobs. First NFL carry, puts it on the ground. Doesn't wrap up. Charles Johnson rips it out as Kuechly was cleaning up the tackle. Now, granted, you're going against Kuechly and Charles Johnson, but you put your other hand on the ball and you hold it. You don't let it get ripped out like that on your first NFL carry. And kudos to the Broncos. They gave him a chance